From 5 News, I'm meteorologist Stephen Elmore. This is your 5+ extended forecast. Monday afternoon is going to be a weather impact alert due to the chances of some strong to severe thunderstorms moving in. Here's how Monday is going to play out. During the morning hours, we're expected to see some scattered showers, but then we enter into a bit of a lull where we could see some sunshine break out, still hanging on to a lot of that cloud coverage. But also what the factor is going to be is some very strong winds are going to come up from the south during the mid-morning hours, gusting around 30 to 50 miles per hour, and that's going to re-energize the atmosphere ahead of a line of thunderstorms that's expected to move through during the early afternoon hours. What's called a squall line is more than likely going to form tomorrow afternoon, producing the chances for some strong damaging winds and the potential for an isolated tornado. Now, we all say this, and still keep in mind that the overall threats are on the lower end. From the Storm Prediction Center, we only have a level 1 out of 5 risk. It is the lowest we have, but it's not 0 for tomorrow. That's why we're getting prepared just ahead of time. Here's a look at what the overnight hours into Monday morning looks like. Scattered showers will be expected. This is not the severe risk just yet. That comes later on into the day on Monday. And here's that lull that we were talking about. Sure, we could see a few scattered showers here and there, but then also you see some pockets where some cloud coverage starts to break out, maybe even see a little bit of sunshine during the mid-morning hours. What's also going to happen during this time is those strong winds. 30 to 50 miles per hour. Those wind gusts will be possible coming up from the south tomorrow, bringing that warm, moist air across the region before that line of thunderstorms starts to form. This is going right up until we're expected to start to see that line of thunderstorms to start to develop. Once that comes in, then we start to see the winds get all crazy and start to move from a different direction now. And this is the time where we could start to see some of that severe weather. Again, the chances are on the lower end, but they're not 0. By the time we get to the evening hours, that line of thunderstorms has moved off towards the east, and we should be seeing clear skies to end our Monday night. Here's the severe zones for Monday. Across northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and into eastern Oklahoma, everybody just at level 1 marginal risk, a low-end risk, but we've seen times before where we've had a low-end risk and we still see the potential of some widespread severe weather. Other times we have the marginal risk and nothing happens. This time around, the verbiage from the Storm Prediction Center and the National Weather Service is that, hey, a line of thunderstorms is going to come in. There is the chances of some strong damaging winds, but we cannot rule out the chances of an isolated tornado. When we look at those hazards, this is from the Storm Prediction Center, you can see all hazards are on the lower end. The two that stick out to me are the tornado risk and the wind risk. That comes on your far left and on your far right. The hail risk is little to none. I'm not expecting much in the way of anything of those hailstones for tomorrow. But when that line of thunderstorms comes in, along that leading edge is going to be some winds that could produce up to 60-mile-an-hour gusts. That could cause some damage. And then along that line, we'll have to watch out for what we call some kinks or some signs of rotation that could end up leading into a tornado. That's what we're going to be watching out during the midday for tomorrow. It's important timing for tomorrow as well. Kiddos could be at school. People are heading out to work for lunch. People are already at work and start to get some alerts on their phone. Middle of the day storms are always kind of hairy because if they do form, it almost seems like you want to be into a scramble of where to go and what to do. That's why we're getting prepared ahead of time. And when we get to tomorrow, if we do get that severe weather, you know you can count on us to provide that most up-to-date information of when and where those storms are going to be coming in. Futurecast doing a pretty good job of explaining what that squall line could look like for tomorrow. You can see it pretty defined here. Here's that line of thunderstorms that's going to start to develop into the early afternoon for tomorrow. And as it gets closer towards the state line, it's going to start to build up some energy. I think when it hits that warm, moist air that's going to be coming across our area for tomorrow, that's when we could really start to see some of those strong to severe thunderstorms form. That window of severe weather continues into the early evening hours. Here's a look at 4 o'clock. That leading edge is where the strongest risk is going to be. That's when it finally pushes out. Some showers are left behind it. And by the time we get to the evening hours for tomorrow, I think for the most part, we're clear, especially when it comes to the rain, but maybe even the cloud coverage as well might be out of here as well. The rest of your Monday night looks very calm. Again, coming for the midday for tomorrow is the greatest concern. So our concerns for tomorrow, mostly all on the lower end of things. When it comes to the greatest concern, it's going to be for those winds. Along that leading edge, we could see wind gusts around 60 miles per hour. When it comes to the tornado risk, it's low. Not zero, though. The hail and flooding risk, very, very low end risk for tomorrow. Maybe a few hailstones here and there. The flooding risk, overall, not too concerned with it. What comes later on into the week is a little bit of a different story. Guess what? Another cold front's on the way. This one going to remain dry, though. It's going to bring in that cool, dry air from Canada, and it's going to be a cold blast of air at that. Temperatures are expected to drop below freezing later on this week for some, and wind chill values are going to dip into the 20s and 30s. This is coming from what's called a secondary cold front that follows the original cold front that's going to bring us that storm chance for tomorrow. That's what's coming later on this week. So some morning temperatures to look at for you. Tomorrow, not too bad. Again, it's going to be warm for the daytime highs, right around those upper 60s and low 70s is where we'll top out. But look at later on in the week. That secondary cold front comes in by the time we get to Wednesday, and temperatures look to be like we're going to see some mornings, several mornings in a row between Wednesday into the end of the work week into the weekend, right around the freezing point, if not below it. Across the river valley, warm for tomorrow, and it's going to be warm in the afternoon. That's when we get that line of thunderstorms to come in. It's going to have a lot of energy to play with. Wednesday through the end of the week, that's when that secondary cold front's going to come in. That's going to bring in the cooler air. Morning temperatures expected to start off into those mid to upper 30s to end the work week and into this upcoming weekend. Northwest Arkansas over the next 7 days looks like this. Tomorrow is going to be a weather impact alert day throughout the day, even though it's not listed there. Again, mainly looking at into the afternoon hours between 11 p.m. and 4 p.m. is when we're expecting to see that line of thunderstorms to start to move through. And then we're going to be seeing a secondary cold front come in by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday. That's going to bring in the much, much cooler air. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday mornings, starting off into the upper 20s and low 30s is a really high potential. Wind chill values could be into the 20s and 30s as well. Afternoon temperatures, not too bad, into those low 50s and lots of sunshine to end the week. It's just going to feel really deep into fall. If not, for some, feel like a little bit like winter almost, and we're getting close to that season. By the time we get to the weekend, not too bad. Still hanging on to some cloud coverage, temperatures gradually starting to warm back up into the upper 50s and low 60s. Across the river valley for tomorrow, again, weather impact alert day, even though it's not listed right there. Really high percentage chance, confidence chance that we're going to be seeing a line of thunderstorms start to develop into the early afternoon, into the or the late afternoon to early evening hours, anywhere between 11 p.m. and 4 p.m., 11 a.m., and 4 p.m. is the general timeline for tomorrow. Again, the morning shower is not going to affect us too much. It's really the clearing that we see. If we see more of a clearing for tomorrow during the mid-morning hours before that next wave comes in, that's going to build up some energy. And the winds coming up from the south, gusting around 30 to 50 miles per hour. Tell you what, folks, that's going to be a nuisance even without the rain. Just those strong winds, but it's also going to fuel that atmosphere once again. And then when that second wave comes in, by the time we get to the afternoon, that's when we could see some strong damaging winds. That's when we could see an isolated tornado as a potential for tomorrow. Tuesday is our nice day, sunshine, temperatures still on the warmer side. And then that secondary cold front comes in and just brings that temperature down quickly. Upper temperatures expected to be around those mid to upper 50s later on this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Morning temperatures across the river valley, mid to upper 30s and some low 40s. I think the wind chill value is definitely what we'll have to look out for across the river valley later on this week. It may not be freezing, but it'll feel like it by the time we end the work week and going into the weekend. Temperatures recover back into those low 60s, but it's still going to be on the cooler side, coolest that we've seen so far. So again, weather impact alert day for Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, Eastern Oklahoma for tomorrow, for Monday, November 18th. Look out between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. for the chances of some strong damaging winds with a line of thunderstorms that's moving through, and cannot rule out the chances for isolated tornado. Later on this week, get the house prepared for some cooler air coming in, some cold air coming in. Could be dropping below freezing. That's the weather where you live. I'm 5 News meteorologist Stephen Elmore. That's your 5+ extended forecast.